Hey everyone, and welcome to the Sweet Spot monthly Q&A. And we call it a Q&A, but it's not really. I'm not a guru, I'm not an expert, I'm just a guy who knows how to get clients. I'm a guy who knows how to help other people get clients. So I would really love your input as well. This isn't all about, hey, ask Craig what he thinks. This is all about us participating together. And today the topic is mindsets. And in particular, I want to talk to you about why success is always elusive. No matter what you do, it's always elusive. It's always just a little bit out of reach. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, of course, I'm Craig Severinsen. I'm the owner of Brightworks PR Marketing. I'm also the sponsor of The Sweet Spot. I'm really glad that you're here today and glad that you're here to participate. As always, I always just like to say The Sweet Spot, I've seen some really cool stuff happen. I've seen some people ask questions when they have problems. I've seen some people network and get referral partners or even referrals from the group. And I just want to remind you that you get what you put into it, right? So if you really want to grow your network with like-minded entrepreneurs just like you who are doing communications, who are rocking it, get in the sweet spot and start talking to people, ask questions. And soon you will see that you'll start getting referral partners, you'll start getting referrals, you'll start getting answers to questions, but you get what you put into it. So if you don't put anything into it, you're not going to get anything out of it, right? So put some time there. I think you won't regret it. And I have to say, whenever I see somebody jump in there with a problem, it's answered pretty immediately. We've got a great group of really talented people with really good advice, so make sure you get in there. And just because you have given advice doesn't mean you can't ask for advice. You got to strip that pride away and just go for it. Well, that was a tangent, not what we want to talk about today. But, okay, so I want to talk about the mindset of really how you view success and failure and why this is a losing game. Because, oh man, where do I even start? Let's start here. And this is kind of deep down the rabbit hole, okay? But this is a great place to start. And that is, I'm going to take you deep into this really quickly. So prepare yourself, take a breath, and let's talk about mindset. Everything you see around you is an interpretation of your brain, right? Like the world that you perceive is just that. It's a perception. It's a story. It's an interpretation of your brain, right? And success or failure is one of those interpretations, and it's a subjective interpretation. Success is not truth. Failure is not truth. What that is an interpretation of events that have occurred, right? And so an example I like to put is, I've got two clients. This happens all the time. So this is a generalization. This isn't like an exact story, but I have seen this exact stories play out before. But here's an example, and this is made up but based on true events that I've seen over and over again. So two clients doing the exact same thing or close or similar things, both get similar results. Let's say that they do a project and makes them $10,000. To entrepreneur A, that $10,000 represents a life-changing success. Holy cow, I made 10 grand. Awesome. To client B, that $10,000 represents a real drop in income, and it's a dismal failure. Holy cow, can't believe it. I can't believe I didn't reach whatever goal I had. How is it that the same amount of money, the same type of project, the same type of business, same type of entrepreneur can result in one being a stellar success and one being a dismal failure? Because it's all about interpretation, right? It's all about how those two people view the events. And so to me, success is always elusive. It never really comes, because have you ever noticed your tendency not to celebrate when you get something? Like when you're successful, have you ever noticed your tendency to just move on to the next thing, right? It's really hard, and we hear all the time, you got to stop. You got to celebrate. Celebrate that you accomplished something. And I do think that that's true. I do think you need to do that. But really, I think this idea of chasing success is a losing game. It's like climbing a mountain. I don't know if you guys have ever gone hiking, mountaineering, right? I like to hike When we lived in Utah, there was a mountain called Mount Timpanogos, and it was like the third largest in Utah or something, but it was right there by our house, like seriously, like a 20-minute, 15-minute drive. I could see it from my home. And I hiked that mountain 3 times. And every time it was the same thing. Well, the third time I got more used to the path, but the first 2 times you'd be hiking and be like, oh my goodness, there is the summit. We're so close. I can see it. That's the top. We're almost there. And you'd hike up the path, and you'd get to what you thought was a summit or a peak and realize that no, there's a whole bunch more behind it. Because all you could see was what was right in front of you. And then once you got there, you realized, oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch more. So I feel like success is that same way, right? Every time you get to where you think success is, the bar moves and suddenly success is further down the line, right? So then you go, you get to where you think success is, and suddenly the bar moved on you again, right? So if you're depending on getting that success, quote unquote, being successful to be happy or to be, why did you become an entrepreneur in the first place? Sure, we all want money, right? But I do think there's something deeper here, right? You want to feel successful, you want to feel happy, you want to help other people, you want to live a certain lifestyle, right? And and maybe the lifestyle isn't, because to live a certain way, you do have to have certain things, right? But like happiness, contentment, you internally cannot be contingent on reaching success. Like you've got to create that internally first and then walk towards it, not try and get something. It's like the Beatles song, money can't buy you love, right? Money can't buy you love, money can't buy you happiness, money can't buy you success. It just can't. So I think this whole idea of chasing success is a losing game, right? So that's point number 1. Chasing success is a losing game for 2 reasons. One, it's a perception. So what is a success to someone else is not a success to somebody else. So it's not a truth. There's no way to really quantify it. What is a success? What is not a success? There's no quantifiable way to answer that question. And then 2 is that it's always moving. The bar is always moving. And unlike the mountain where eventually you do reach the peak, when you're talking about business and you're talking about life, there is no peak. Success will constantly be out of reach. It'll constantly be moving. Okay, so if success and failure are not what we're after, okay, Craig, great. Then what's your point? Okay, we get it. Success, you don't like it. Well, okay, I do like success, but here's the thing. I think you have to create success internally. Like you have to feel like a successful person because of who you are, not because you've accomplished something. So like I wake up in the morning and guess what? Every day I'm a successful person. Why am I successful? Because I'm who I am. I'm intentional about who I am, and I'm waking up and I'm breathing. And to me, that is success. And so no matter what happens to me, I end the day knowing that I am a successful person and knowing that I have success. Sure, there's things that happen. There's ups and downs. There's different results. There's things that I like. There's things that I don't like. But guess what? At the end of the day, I'm happy. I'm at peace. I am successful, right? And this is intentional. This is choice. So it's not that I'm against success. I just think you have to create success for yourself. You can't be chasing it. Now, this also doesn't mean that I don't think that you should be chasing after big goals or looking for bigger results, right? I do think that's important, right? But here's the thing. When you start going after something, like let's say you have a huge goal. You've got this like dream, this vision that you want to accomplish. And you start going after that. You start pouring your heart and soul into it. You start pouring your time. You start working hard to get it. Instead of thinking in terms of success and failures, because that's an interpretation, that's a story, I like to choose a different story. Either you're going to get the result that you're after, or you're going to learn. And I think that this really ties into, and I know, stay with me, because I know that can sound, oh yeah, you didn't fail, you learned. Like that sounds a little corny or a little, trite or whatever. But seriously, stay with me here, because when you start taking that mindset where everything is either results or learning, there is no success or failure, what that starts to do for you as an entrepreneur is it starts retraining your brain so that success is inevitable, because you're constantly going to be moving forward. And commitment, seeing things through even when you don't get the results you want, is what separates a thriving entrepreneur who gets the results they want from a struggling entrepreneur who doesn't get the results they want. Both of them will go through the same challenges. Both of them will have, maybe not the exact same challenges, but everybody has challenges. Everybody's got demons. Everybody's got things that they face that are hard, right? So what separates somebody who really thrives and somebody who struggles? It's that the person who thrives is committed to seeing this through to the end. And instead of getting setbacks and dragging their feet and feeling like, oh, I'm a failure, I can't do this, and then it takes them 6 months to ramp up for something again and try again, and then, oh my goodness, it didn't go the way I wanted to, because guess what? You're never successful. You never get enough. So it always has this mindset on you, and that holds them back and keeps them struggling. Versus somebody who looks at this as, I either learn or I get the results. Then when they get the results, they can say, fantastic, I'm going to double down on that. Or they can say, okay, I didn't get my results. I learned from that. Let's go again. And they go again, and they do it again, and they go again, and they go again, and they go again. And guess what? Every time they go, it's a snowball. It starts small, grow, 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 grow. I was going to do like increments, right? It gets bigger, bigger, and then I went to snowballs. My visual aids are my hands in the screen so that you can follow along. But it's true, right? It starts to snowball. It starts to build because they're constantly in action, and they're constantly learning, and they're constantly improving. And this is a question of commitment and mindset. Not of some special skill, not of some superpower, not something that sets you apart from them. So if you're struggling, this is possible for you, but what do you have to do? You have to retrain your brain to stop thinking in terms of success and failure and start thinking in terms of results and learning. And then have a strong bias towards action. Get that strong bias in action. Because I would rather have something 75% perfect and out there than 99.9999% perfect and still in my head or still in my inbox, right? I didn't push send on that email because it wasn't perfect. And so I wait. I gotta get it perfect. Never send it. Versus, hey, this is good enough. Send. Oh my goodness, it had a typo. Well, guess what? People still responded to it, right? My camera's all wonky. It's not wanting to get... There we go. I've got a really nice camera, and I'm using my cell phone because Facebook Live doesn't really work well with the other tools. If anyone's got tips for that, love to hear it. And the cell phone doesn't focus all the time. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Success really is always out of reach. So that's not a mindset. That's not a story that serves you. That's not an interpretation of the world that serves you. So it's time to change that interpretation, right? And if this seems out there to you, right, like the term you hear, so when you start getting into the stuff about mindset and inner game, the term you hear all the time is woo-woo, right? Or like spiritualist, or like, terms that are kind of like out there, and you start like, I don't know. I'm not that guy. I'm not a woo-woo person. I'm not like an out there type person. So the way I approach this stuff is what works and what doesn't work. And I really look for science-based stuff. And what's really interesting to me is that lots of times what we call woo-woo or out there is just approaching the same thing that science or that, a really practical approach approaches as well. It's like the same thing, just approaching it from different sides. So sometimes the terminology will turn you on or off, or you don't like it or you do like it. And what I have found for me is what is going to get you where you want to go. What is going to help you reach the level and the results that you want to achieve. And then go and experiment, right? Like, if you're kind of like, hey, Craig, this is way down the rabbit hole, I don't know about all this stuff, well, then I invite you to try it, test it, use the scientific method, right? Our hypothesis is that if you change the way you think about success and failure and have a bias towards action, that you will start to see more results in your business and in your life. right? That's our hypothesis. That's the one I'm proposing to you. How do you test that? Go try it. And I guarantee you, after not very much time, you'll start to get a gut reaction about whether or not this is working for you, right? And if it's not working for you, then ditch it, right? Because you only want things that really serve you. Maybe this is another mindset, right? Like, find the things that serve you, and things that aren't serving you or aren't working for you, cut them. Cut them. You do not have time to waste on things that don't serve you, right? Like, even your business functions, this is kind of shifting gears, but even your business functions, right? Like, you don't have time to waste doing stuff in your business that doesn't contribute to the bottom line growth and health of your business. So don't do it, right? Okay. I could go on tangents forever. I'd love to hear your comments. Please leave them below. I'll read every single one and respond to them. Until next time, take some fast focus and perfect action. Change your mindset. Success versus failure, wrong interpretation. What we really want is results and learning. Okay, talk to you soon, guys. Bye.